Hey, what is up, guys? It is your boy Speed here, and today, well, actually, first thing I want to say is I hope you enjoyed yesterday's Jungle Venomancer video. Hope you had a good time watching, seeing how that breaks down, how I played. Hopefully it inspires you to go ruin your pubs. And yeah, today what we'll be doing is we'll be looking at a lane that no one, yes, VP no one and VP Zayak play together, and they stomp. They hard stomp. And they don't stomp any lane, they stomp an IO lane. Now, sure, you might be saying, Speed, IO never gets picked in my pubs. How does this apply to me? Well, what I'll be showing you are just key principles and strategies to apply to your games so that you can stomp your games as well, right? That's the goal here. You just want to be able to stop your games super hard, and these strategies are very straightforward. Now, you do have to apply them pretty perfectly for them to be effective, but you'll see a couple of main ideas that I give you. Now, before we get to the video, like, subscribe, and of course, subscribe to the GameLeap website as well. You can't only subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's just messed up, right? It's messed up. You also have to sign up to the GameLeap website as soon as you can. And now let's get into the video. Okay, so in this lane, the first thing that we see is a tri-lane for the Rune. Guys, please start calling this in your pubs. I know I already hear like the comments complaining, Speed, I can't get my teammates to do anything. You don't even ask. I swear, like, it's so true. People don't even ask. And then they think like, oh, why can't I get my teammates to do anything? The only time people ask for their teammates to do stuff is when everyone's tilted. That's like, for some reason, true, right? It's like people wait to make calls and say stuff until someone messes up or like until they disagree with someone. Why not do things proactively? Whoa, hey, whoa, big words. Okay, but this play is reliable. It's a guaranteed kill. Do you want guaranteed first blood? Here you go. Even though it wasn't actually first blood here. But what you do is you just call over your position 5. It's not like they want to go contest the bottom rune anyway. Winter Wyvern's terrible in this case. Like, he hates 2v2s. But Winter Wyvern loves number advantages because he provides a really consistent slow. So you bring your Winter Wyvern or whatever your support is, a Lich, a Disruptor, or a CM. You bring them to the rune. They hide in the trees. You wrap him behind. The enemy team is like, oh, we're Io's Finn. We're really strong. And then you go on them. I even think they went in a little bit early here. Maybe Solo went in a little bit early. He could have baited them more towards the rune. And that's what's going to happen in your pubs. This strategy will work 100% of the time. You bait them to your rune. They go to the rune. The position 5 comes out. Boo. They're dead. Right? But unfortunately, this is an IO. I think he ends up tethering out here. Yeah. Just barely lives. Honestly, this is so beneficial, though. Like, it might look like, oh, he didn't get the kill. That was a waste of time. Absolutely not. This is incredibly beneficial. Right? Incredibly beneficial. The IO has to eat an early tango, which is kind of to be expected, but he has to eat a tango, and he has to burn his fairy fire, and he's going to start the lane on low HP, which leaves him vulnerable to dying. The IO needs to be high HP so that he can zone out the Doom or zone out the Venom. Now that he's this low, he can't do anything for a while, and you might be saying, well, Speedy is 8 million regen. Yes, but it will still take enough time where they can ignore him for long enough. They'll be okay, right? They'll sustain for long enough. Now, the next thing that happens, and the next thing I want to talk about for the laning stage that people get wrong, is that they try to do too much at level 1, okay? So this Venom currently is Gale, and the Doom has Devour. How much can they do in this lane? Practically nothing, and yet they stomp this lane. It's because players always try to do so much at level 1. You can't. 9 times out of 10, actually I'm going to say 99 out of 100 times in Dota, you can't do that much at level 1. Also, this Doom has Devour, right? So understanding that he's super weak, and the Venom is also mildly weak, Gale is really not that good at level 1. The only reason why he took it is because they had a 3v2, which is what makes Gale good. If you have a numbers advantage, then Gale is good. So they kill off this Observer, nice little D-ward, then he's going to run all the way down with the creep wave, drag it all the way around, and bring it to here, right? Do not bring it under the tower. Static it, and then he actually ends up CSing a lot of it, and this is really cool because you can deny and CS the wave. You get your support to a really high level. Also, what is the Venom doing at this point? He's kind of just trading with the IO. The enemy team also separates the wave. This is something that only happens in really high moment games, to be honest, but what will often happen is that the wave will just shove into the Venom, and he'll get enough XP to chill. Now, funny enough, the Doom is actually more of the core in this lane, for now at least. Kind of sounds weird, but he's going to spend a little bit of time going to eat this creep. So if you want to play Doomforts, this is what you do. You drag the first wave, you eat a creep, and then once you get your second Devour, you go eat a really nice creep. Optimally, you find one of these Alpha Wolves because you can eat them at level 1. It's one of the only like good creeps you can eat at level 1. So he finds one, And now you are going to see the power of this Alpha Wolf. Also, take a look at this. Plus 19 damage. 19. This passive, the Pack Leader's Aura, gives everything around you 30% damage. It's insane. Like literally, how much is that? How much is 2 Blades of Attack? 2 Blades of Attack is 450 gold, so that's 900 gold. You have to spend 900 gold to get the value of this passive, and that's on one hero. Do keep in mind that it applies to all of your other laning partners as well, right? That's just how ridiculous it is. On top of that, what you want to know is it also applies to creeps. And this is why they win the lane, right? It's why they win the lane. They wait for their timings, they get these big auras, right? So now they hit their spike, and then the Veno makes a really nice bait play. Good movement by the Veno. He hits level 2, has a stick, good items, a Fairy Fire, stick, branches, ton of regen. Exactly what you want on your Veno. And because of that, he's able to kite out, hit a nice scale, they kill the IO, and then look at these crits. Ready? Right? I don't think he crits this attack. I think he crits this one, though. Oh, no, it's this one. Doosh! And all of a sudden, they have a double kill. And that just comes down to the understanding of how their lane fundamentally works. If they poke and prod at level 1 at the IO and the Sven, they will lose, right? Why? Because IO Sven is a sustain lane. How they win the lane is they chip you down. They stun you, they hit you a couple times, do 200, 300 damage, they back off, right? And so if Zayak and no one was to trade into that at level 1, they would have lost. If Zayak didn't drag the wave, they would have lost. And that's how crazy Dota is. If you miss one of these steps, you actually lose your lane, right? You just have to miss one step. And now at this point, it is crucial that they go in. Guys, I'm about to give you a couple of key tips that if you start applying, you will stomp every single lane. Now, I know you're about to say speed, but this only applies to Veno and Doom lanes. No, it doesn't. I have coached multiple students now, and I would argue their biggest weakness is their inability to synergize with teammates in the lane, mid game, late game. But this video is about the laning stage, so let's focus on that. Right here, what level is Io? 2. What level is Sven? 2. What level is the Doom and the Veno? 3. And I know this is like, oh, this is, this is some like elementary level school math. But guys, if your numbers are 3 and their numbers are 2, you should go on them the large majority of time. There is very few lanes where this isn't the case. I'm not even going to bother to list them. I honestly can't even think of them off the top of my head, right? Level 3 advantage, and they're just going to look to go for kills. So what do you do when you get an advantage? You pull the lane back, nice little side pull. Then the IO is going to step up. They step up for this range creep, pretty standard, right? They step up, and because of that, they go. And they go at the same exact time. And they get a kill. So here are the 2 tips, okay? I'm gonna make them really simple. If you have a level advantage, you have to go. If you have a level advantage, you have to go together, okay? You need to make sure that you and your laning partner go at the same time and you both cast your spells at the same exact time. That is so important for winning the lane. And go watch your replays and pay attention. Please do this right now. Pause the video, go watch a replay. Pay attention to how little you and your teammates work together and how little the opponents work together. It is disturbing. You'll notice it is so common. It's just humans in general in whatever aspect of life, so bad at working together. And when you fix that, you become unstoppable. I really mean that. Like, the amount pros work together is really the biggest thing that makes them pros, in my opinion. Their synergy. And yeah, that's really why they stomped this lane. At this point, it's completely out of hand. And now that they've pushed their spikes over and over again, he's level 4 on Doom at minute 4, and they can just dive this guy. He also has an urn, which means he's getting 2 urn charges. He snipes a courier, can solo zone out the IO, nearly solo kills the IO as well. And that is what we call a beating, right? That is a stomping of the lane. So if you tell yourself that, oh, yeah, I won my lane, I played well enough in the lane, I don't need to fix my laning stage, there's always things you can do 10 times better, like they've done here, to stomp. You only really have small gaps to stomp your lane, right? You only have small gaps. You can go even. Most people just go even. They do okay, and people can do all right just because they have favorable matchups. But this is not a favorable matchup. They win this lane because of plays and power spikes. And yeah, funny enough, that's about the end of the laning stage. I do want to show off one more point before you end the video. This is a really cool thing that I think more players need to think about. Very difficult to execute in pubs, but I'd still like to put the idea on the table. And what that is understanding when to swap lanes. So you'll see here, the Spectre is having a very hard game. He's 0-1, he had the lane against the Tide Disruptor. Really brutal lane, very difficult. right? I mean, the spam coming out from that lane is horrible to deal with. And so what do? They send the Spectre top and they send the Veno bottom. This is an important thing to understand. Anytime you're an offlane player, if you have a good laning stage and you're playing with a desperate safe laner, a safe laner that had a bad start and is playing a hero that needs lane creeps, that's a big idea, then you want to swap the lanes, right? So he has a Spectre. Spectre cannot AFK jungle with these items. He will have no farm, right? And so what they do, they ward the top lane, they give the Spectre the top lane, and they send their Veno bottom because Veno can deal with Tidehunter, right? The Plague Wards are pretty hard for Tidehunter to kill. Not that they really do any damage to the Tide, they don't, but they can at least prevent him from taking the tower and just running over the lane. So yeah, I love that they do this. I love this lane swap. So I hope that makes sense, the ways you need to look at it. You need to make sure that your safe laner can't jungle. If he can, honestly, if you're stomping your lane and your safe laner can jungle, then they can just jungle. Like if they're playing TV or Naga, you don't have to go bottom for them. In fact, you can completely avoid bottom and you want to bring the attention top, especially if they don't want top. And a lot of the time, players just won't even consider going top, or into the offlane, I should say. They won't consider swapping the lanes. And so the best way to create space for them is sort of what I did in my Veno jungle game, which is where I just forced rotations top and created a lot of pressure in the offlane, which is a good way to make space for your safe laners as well. But yeah, okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was on the shorter side, but I really want to keep it niche, give you some cool ideas to work with. Main summary for this video, if you're looking to stomp your lane, there's a couple things you need to do. Stop killing yourself at level 1. At level 1, the best way to play is to focus on CS and denies and hitting people when they go out of position. Let them go out of position. If they walk into the creep wave, or some Crystal Maiden walks next to your position 4, yeah, beat them up, right? Beat them up. But do not do it yourself. Do not walk through the creep wave. Don't dive. Don't do anything crazy at level 1. Focus on getting CS denies. And if your lane is really hard, even drag the wave. Now, if you're not in the off lane, what should you do? Pull the wave, right? After that, the biggest tip I can give for the laning stage that people do consistently wrong is they don't have any synergy. And until you get the idea of synergy down, you will be brutally stuck at your bracket when it comes to laning stage capabilities. And it's funny, the amount of divine players and immortal players that can't work together is horrible. It's horrible. And it only gets worse the further you go down. So guys, start thinking about that now. I don't care if it's solo queue, do your best to make simple calls. Say, hey, let's go on this guy. Just say kill him. That's the best thing you can do in Dota. Go kill this person. Go kill that person. Let's go smoke. Simple, basic commands that have proper impact. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Peace. But yeah, that's going to be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the GameLeap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.